Hey, what's up? I'm back here with patch rundown of 1.41. It's the Halloween patch, and it's here to break double shield. So, just going right into it, we have D.Va, defense matrix buffed, and now in the changes here, it's a tiny change, slightly changed from 4.5 to 16% regen rate. Then also small delay decreased, and this will make it so that you can use the D.Va matrix more for chip damage, some spam damage, but you can also be ready for the grab eat, or maybe if you want to eat a, let's say, nade or whatever, like you'll have it ready quicker. So I think the D.Va change is just a small change in order to get her back in as a second tank and avoid having like Sigma or Risa as the tanks of choice, like when you enter a game. It already feels like D.Va is viable on live. Now, Risa, just moving into the next, protective barrier cooldown increased from 9 to 10 seconds. Now, it might feel like this is not a big nerf. It is a big nerf. This means that if you run Hanzo, McCree, Ashe, you know, whatever, soldier, like even soldier, yeah, and you just shoot down the shield, you break the shield, the Risa won't have time to put up a new shield. Generally, before the patch, you would have around 3 to 4 seconds before your shield is, back on off cooldown after it's broken. Now it'll be 4 to 5 seconds, and that's plenty of time to break a Sigma shield, and as a result, Sigma won't be used with Orisa. And yeah, you'll see more Hog Orisa, D.Va Orisa, not as much a double tank, main tank. And if you want to kill the Orisa but you don't have a Lucio maybe, you go with the shield break. Next up is Roadhog. Scrap gun. Ammunition increased from 5 to 6. Now this is just in order to make Roadhog viable as a second tank with Orisa, I feel like. And also maybe some other tank, like let's say Reinhardt or whatever. And yeah, just a small, not small nerf, small buff to help Hog come back into the viable meta, so to say. Sigma. Kinetic Grasp no longer blocks chain hook and whip shot. Let's start with the chain hook. If you're facing Hog Orisa and Orisa orbs above your shield, now because there's the delay, we're gonna talk about it soon. There's a delay when you grab your shield and put it back up. You won't be able to block the hook with it. Remove your shield. So if you get orbed up above your shield and hook comes in, it now hooks you, like it says here. Before the patch, your kinetic grasp would block the hook, which made Sigma really strong versus Hog and pushed Hog outside of the meta. Now another part here is whip shot, and this is in order to, I think, because is in order to have break counterplay the Sigma if dive becomes viable. Let's say Sigma plus ball with Genji Tracer, let's say Lucio, Ana. Now that would be a very highly mobile comp, and Brig is the perfect character for it because of her whip shot. It's such a short cooldown, reaches really far, and you want to be able to push back the Sigma if he drops his shield in order to push forward. Same thing if you have Sigma with Winston. Or Sigma D.Va, for example. Just to make Brig viable. Now, next up is Gravitic Flux. High gravity effect duration reduced from 1.2 to 0.9. This means that the targets, the moment you hit, like, go up into the air, it's now gonna be 0.9 seconds for them to fall down. It will make hitting 2 shots much more difficult as Sigma. So what you want to do as Sigma, in order to get guaranteed kills, when you press the ult, press Q, you hold mouse button 1 or primary fire if you're in console or whatever, and as you're like lifting up, shots will come out. So you sort of overlap the animations. I'm not sure if it's a bug or not, but you can do that. And then when you're up in there, you have a second shot you can shoot. So you have to be quick with the aiming. And all this does is increasing the skill ceiling for Sigma. And then we have experimental, but or it could also be lowering the skill floor. But here we have experimental barrier, regen rate reduced from 175 to 150. This is in order to counteract the shield break, you know, to make shield, not counteract, but make shield break more viable versus the Sigma, so that you don't run Sigma and Orisa. It has now 1 second cooldown after recalling the barrier. This will make it more difficult for Sigma to aggress, to be, you know, the one making space. So now you will need something to support the Sigma, like a Zarya, like a D.Va, like a Hog. Maybe not Hog, because Hog is really, really bad with Sigma. But you need something to protect him when he's not using his shield. Sort of like how Reinhardt has a Zarya bubble or D.Va matrix when he's swinging. How Winston has matrix or Zarya bubble when he's out of his bubble. You need something to support him, right? And Orisa can't really do that. Ryan can't really do that. Balt can't really do that. So Sigma is now established as a main tank that needs a off tank. Then initial 0.2 custom removed. Now this is a big one, because this will mean that if you're anticipating a shatter, you're anticipating a hook, maybe you're anticipating a grab, maybe anticipating, let's say, sleep dart, whatever, you know, whatever it is, you know, put out the shield instantly and block shatters, block hooks. You can block nades, sleep darts, and anything pretty much. And this is where really skillful Sigmas will shine. He's going to be a very, how to say, he's not going to be very defensive or very aggressive. It's going to be like a hybrid thing for Sigma, where you can go aggressive with him, have no shield, and then guard yourself versus something like instantly. Winston, barrier projector, duration increased from 6 to 9 seconds. Now this will, I think what it does is, it will make it easier for Winston, who is really good at shield kiting or shield dancing, you know, like zigzagging through the shield, to survive longer, deal more damage, consistently kill Annas, Zens, whatever, you know, and also jump back out. Previously, you would have to delay your jump by either going high ground with your jump and then jumping in on normally, or waiting for your leap to go off cooldown after going high ground, sliding on roofs and then landing. Because your shield would end or like get cracked, killed before your leap cooldown was back. So now this is just to help Winston come back into the meta, I feel like. Health increased on the shield from 600 to 700. Just a slight, I think a slight buff to the shield. It's not really gonna matter that much, because if you're a Winston and you're jumping into an Ana, if the Ana sleep darts you, you're just as dead as with a shield that's 600 HP. The shield difference here is going to be for spam damage versus McCree or whatever, you know, to be able to deal with the high damage output from some of the recent buffs. Not to necessarily only McCree, but McCree, you have, let's say, Ashe, you have Hanzo, let's say Sigma, you know. There could be a lot of, shield spam, and this will help. So Winston coming back in, becoming viable against a lot of things. Batiste, Immortality Field, health decreased from 250 to 200. Now this is very noticeable on live. I've already played 7 or 8 hours of ranked, you know, before even making this video. And I feel like this is a great change. This will make it easier for Genji to blade, Nano Blade for example, easier for Tracer to kill off the field, Sombra, you know, whatever, you know. It's just much more counterplay, and this will lower the skill floor, I think, for Batiste. where if you're just like sending out your immortality field, it's gonna be punished easily. And immortality field is more meant to be as a saving ability, sort of like beat, you know. Once you send it out, instantly, you know, instant protection, and you're only meant to save people right here, right now, not in 10 seconds from when you send it out or something. So you can't be preemptive with your immortality field anymore. Next up, Lucio. Crossfade. Speed boost effect increased from 20% to 25%. Just a basic, how to say, the base speed increased. Amp it up. Speed boost amplification increased from 50 to 60%. This is really good for Reinhardt comps. Rein Zarya, let's say with Reaper, you can run with McCree or whatever, you know. But mainly Rein comps, because Rein relies a lot on speed to close in the distance so that he can swing. And already we can see that this is going to be a counter for Risa, the comp that everyone wants to get away from. And as mentioned in the developer comment, it used to be nerfed because of tanks, you know, triple tank, quad tank even, speeding in like there's some lightning fast train. So since 222 is in place, you can up the speed and make Reinhardt more viable again. Wall ride. Speed buff reduced from 40 to 30%. This is in order to balance out the increased speed, just so that you don't have a sick Lucio like, let's say, Fanny Astro, Masa, you know, whoever, Slime, or yeah, I don't know, you know, tons of Lucios there. Just speed boost in and kill everyone. You don't want them to make some sick play that you can't counterplay, because he would be like a bullet. So naturally, speed buff reduced from wall riding. And I think Lucio will be more as a peel hero now. He's not meant to be that Reddit killer that you see everyone talk about, like being a kill streak reward from Call of Duty or something. Next up, we have Mercy, Valkyrie. The extra beams created by Valkyrie now ignores barriers. Again, if you have people stacked up, you have a lot of chains, but there's a Winston bubble right on them. Or maybe there's a Reinhardt shield, or maybe there's Sigma and Orisa. You can now play Fair Mercy and wreck them. It's just a quality of life for Mercy. It makes Mercy more viable, and also so that you can damage boost people through the shields. So now you can break the shield easier, you can heal people easier, you can, yeah, keep the teammates up. And Mercy becomes viable, and as a result, Fair becomes viable as well. Moira, Biotic Grasp, self-healing reduced from 30 to 20 health per second. This is just to punish people who DPS Moira and think that they can solo queue, solo duel people and win the game without the teammates. Now you remove the solo, how to say, ability to duel enemies, and if you're just dueling a Moira, you'll have a easier time with the nerf here, and you can punish them. And then the other Moira is forced to play with the team, and then it'll be a bit more difficult. But this is just to reduce the power 1v1s with Moira, because if you send out a damage orb onto a McCree or whatever, and he misses his shots, he's most likely dead. Yeah. Imagine being a Zen. Oof. Anyways. Doomfist next. Rocket Punch. Time to reach max charge increased from 1 to 1.4 seconds. Now, the punch now, after the patch, is meant to be... I think you're supposed to be engaging around corners, like punching around corners, or use the punch to kill something on mid to short range, but not really max range, where you like snipe from like a Widow or something. I'd say you're more likely now to see Doomfists going for big slams. I know Get Quaked, for example, a Doomfist YouTuber here, who is really good with Doomfist tech. He also makes a lot of educational videos if you want to check it out. He shows how you can do something called hop slam, which is you get a bigger arch on your slam, and you get more damage, and then you uppercut and you punch out, and then that's your new rotation. Usually it used to be punch in, uppercut, slam out. But I think punch would be more short to mid-range now. And it's also, yeah, just lowering the skill floor on Doomfist. Really good Doomfist players will still be really good. The best defense. Shield health gain per hit reduced from 35 to 30. Now this is just to make Doomfist more squishy over time in fights. You know, the long fights when it feels like you can never kill Doomfist really. It feels like Doomfist survives forever. Feels like he's just way too tanky. And that's because of how much targets he gets with his slam or punch or uppercut, you know. And this, again, lowers the skill floor. Good Doomfists, they won't need that large pool of health. Bad Doomfist players, they will. Because they will miss punches, they will not get high, you know, high value, optimal value or whatever. It'll take them time to get kills. So you, as the player against the Doomfist, you will have a greater chance to counter the Doomfist by focusing him. Next up, Sombra. Translocator cooldown increased from 4 to 6 seconds. Wait, gonna do the next one too. Cooldown now begins immediately upon deploying the beacon or if it's killed by an enemy. So what does this mean? Well, it means that if you place the beacon right here, right where I'm sitting in my chair, and then let's say that I run to my kitchen, 6 seconds later, I use my ult, EMP, boom, whatever she says, you know, Apagando no loses, yeah, you know what I mean. And then you translocate back. Now you still have a translocator off cooldown. So you just send that translocator back and you're now in the fight again. You suddenly take a different angle, pretty much instantly. So what this means is that you as a Sombra, you will have a chance to have a higher uptime. Meaning that you can do more things more often and farm UMP more often, quicker, pop it more frequently. You'll shorten the window, like the window it takes for you to, or the time, I guess, time frame it takes for you to go back out and then come back in. That is now shortened by a lot. Keep in mind though that you're kind of squishy, you're not a god. So if you get focused and the enemies like notice your translocate or whatever, you'll still get killed. But this is now in order to add more counterplay to slow comps like Orisa or Bastion or whatever. Next up, Symmetra. Bow and barrier. Duration reduced from 15 to 12 seconds. Health reduced from 5k to 4k. Now, this is her ult. I think it's just good. No big comments on this. It's just that by the time you hit the 15 seconds, the fight is already decided. Most often it's already decided. If it's not decided by 15 seconds, then I think that you're doing something wrong as the Symmetra. Yeah. So what you could do instead is 1 second here. There we go. So what you could do instead is find the perfect moment when you place that shield. Make sure that you get value from it. So that you don't run in, do whatever, you know, you just put the shield and then say, oh, shielding now. And then your teammates like have no idea what to do. You just come up with some plan. You'll get punished. Sentry turrets. Damage per second reduced from 50 to 40. Pretty good. Doomfist, Ball, Tracer, Genji. Let's see, not Hanzo, but Sombra. Who else? Doomfist. I think I already mentioned Doomfist. Reaper, you know, whatever. Low HP characters or mobility characters like Winston as well, they will have a greater chance to deal with the turrets. If you're walking through a choke that's stacked with turrets as a Reinhardt player, you know the feeling, like you just get super slowed. So you just turn around, shoot them earlier, and if you're just quick, you'll have less HP then. Well, you'll have more HP to go compared to before the patch. You're gonna love it. No big comment other than that. Photon projector. Players impacted by the primary fire beam should now hear a louder impact sound. Now this means that if I'm Symmetra, I'm like shooting on you, you will now get blasted. Like you'll wake up as you hear it, and you'll now focus to Symmetra, because in lower ranks, low SR brackets like bronze, silver, gold, it's a big issue, the focusing on targets, making sure that you don't let the Symmetra free farm on you. So you'll direct your attention immediately to the Symmetra, and you'll kill her, you'll stop her, and she won't be able to snowball that much. Now the Symmetra can still dodge, she can still, you know, kite and, you know, play well, and she can still wreck you. So make sure that you focus her and kill her quickly. Next up, Tracer, pulse pistols. Damage fall off now starts at 13 meters, up from 10 meters. Now, here's the thing. If you're a Tracer player and you're going up against a McCree, you're gonna feel like it's a more fair duel when it comes to the flashbang. You can outplay the flashbang a lot easier. I don't think it changes much for, as much as it does for, I don't think it changes more for pro players than it does for low rank players. Like this will make it a bit easier for low rank players to play Tracer and feel like they have a chance against the McCree, or they have a chance against let's say Anna, whatever, you know, because the further away you can stand, the easier, the more time you have to react to something like a sleep dart, nade, flashbang, even shatter. So you don't have to go as close anymore as Tracer. And keep in mind as well, if you're playing Zen and you hear a Tracer above you somewhere on high ground, she won't need to drop down from high ground, on most high grounds at least, in order to shoot you in the head and one clip you. So be really careful when you're hearing a Tracer flank somewhere, like on the second point, King's Row, you know, up in the hallways, you know, on high ground. If you're the Tracer and you love playing Tracer, flank high ground, use the high ground. You don't have to drop down to low ground as much anymore, as I mentioned, and really make use of that high ground, because you can farm people. And you'll notice the damage fall off a lot when you do duels, especially versus Mei, McCree, even Doomfist, Brig. And because Brig is coming back in, I didn't mention this, but this is like a hidden buff to Brig. D.Va will come back. We saw a lot of changes here that enables Winston, enables D.Va, Genji as a result, Tracer, Mercy. You can run Winston, D.Va, Mercy, Pharah. And Brig will be in there in order to whip Winston away, whip Ball away, whip D.Va away. And you as a Tracer, you don't want to get bashed, right? You don't want to get bashed by Brig. So now you have the 13 meters damage fall off increased, or 13 meters instead of 10, and you're gonna love it. It still doesn't mean Tracer is gonna be insane, because you have the spread. Like the further away you are from a target, the more spread out your shots are, right? So you'll still miss some damage, but the bullets that hit, they will do full damage within 30 meters. So that's where the counterplay comes in. In order to get like the real damage, you need to be a bit closer. But if you want to be closer, requires more multitasking, quicker fingers, quicker reactions, quicker decision making. And that's where the skill Tracer will shine. And I don't think they will abuse as much the 30 meter range. So yeah, that's all. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you liked it. And this was patch rundown of 1.41. Take care.